Griffin the Griffin by BlackWing, Chapter 15. Well, now that we've had our fun tormenting the princesses, you all get practicing again. I'm gonna do some egghead stuff. Right, those books you stole from the insufferable Twilight Sparkle. Oh, I would have liked to see the look on her face, Trixie stated. While only unicorns are capable of conscious magic, various other races have passive magic abilities. The earth ponies have magic that aids in healing and growth, both of plants, animals, and other ponies as well. Pegasi and griffins are able to manipulate weather, phenomena, cockatoo, their ability to petrify with a stare. These are all examples of passive magic. Dragon's breath is also a form of magic, although not passive, it also does require a conscious effort and is natural as breathing. This separates the three types of magic into channeled, passive, and active. Channeled being unicorn spells, passive being walking on clouds, and active being manipulating clouds to rain or lightning, I read aloud. You don't say, Gilda looked at me sarcastically. Hey, it may be common sense to you, but to someone from another reality, this is all new. Not exactly a lie, since I had never dealt with it firsthand. Conscious magic requires a focus. Unicorns have their horns, which act as a focal point for their magic, stemming from their souls. Each horn is attuned perfectly to the unicorn it belongs to, and as such, no other creature with magical powers is able to use a horn that is not their own for a focus. However, in the circumstance of a unicorn having a broken horn, in the past flawless gemstones cut to a point were used as a replacement. Aha now! There's something interesting. I wonder if it's possible for non-unicorns to use magic if they have a focus. I took out a small gemstone that had been shaped, then focused on it. It seemed to shimmer slightly, and then it passed. As I thought, non-unicorns just don't have enough oomph to make anything happen. I wonder if my human form could. No point worrying about it now. Hey Gilda, remember when that Pegasus thought I was going to eat him? He told me to rot in Tartarus. What did he mean by that? I asked. Beats me. Probably the pony equivalent of go to hell, Gilda replied. If you must know, Tartarus is the underworld. It serves as a prison for all the most evil creatures in the world after they die, and is guarded by Cerberus to make sure none of them get out, Trixie said with a know-it-all tone. Gilda looked at me strangely. Cerberus? As in the three-headed hound Cerberus? Trixie nodded. Yes, that one. If you're an alien, how did you know? She asked. Well, Gilda, remember when I told you about Hades? Why I named my sword that? Yeah? Well, in Greek mythos, Hades is the underworld guarded by Cerberus, and Tartarus is a prison within Hades. When anyone dies, if they were good, they'd go to a beautiful garden within. If they were bad, then they'd go somewhere in the rest of Hades. Be it the lake of fire, river of blood, bone pillars, or 100 other horrors. And if they were really bad, then they'd go to Tartarus. I think the Greek mythology of my world, or at least the underworld part of it, is based on your world, I explained. Which means? Gilda didn't get it. All of the legends of Pegasi, unicorns, cockatrice, basilisks, manticores, Cerberus, it all matches my world exactly. My dimension doesn't have any of those things. So where did we get the legends? You got them from here, Trixie suddenly caught on, which means that our worlds were connected at one point. And if you came here, they are once again. Okay, Trix, I want you to cast an illusion on me. Now, before, when I gave you examples, they were pretty far-fetched, and would probably not have worked unless it was on a stupid opponent. Suddenly being hungry and food where a bottomless chasm used to be isn't very convincing. I want you to cast an illusion on me. I'll know it's an illusion, so I'll be expecting it. If you can fool me, you'll have succeeded in that aspect of your training. Remember, subtlety. I have to think it's real. Her horn glowed. My vision flickered and nothing happened. Trix, are you gonna do this or what? Oh, you clever devil. Good, that's the first thing. Don't just change something. Have the illusion mimic real life and then change something. Now let's see if you can make the change believable. The illusionary Trixie smiled at my praises, then ran over to me, snatching my sword, darting away with it. She held it in her mouth, bringing it up. Oh, haha, very funny. I know it's still there, I said, reaching for it. Of course, I couldn't feel it on my back. Good, you remembered to kill the sense of touch as well. You've definitely improved this past week. She smiled with the blade in her mouth, before swinging it at me. It missed by a wide margin. Then she said, "You're dead." I pondered what she meant. My vision flickered again, and I saw her standing there, holding my sword in her mouth, holding it up with magic. Wait, what? I was totally confused. You said you knew it was an illusion, so I showed you exactly what was actually happening. That way, I didn't actually use an illusion, but you thought I did. Because of it, you let your guard down. And you managed to steal my sword. You cocky little... No, that's not the right emotion. I'm impressed. You got me. If you'd been trying to kill me, I'd be dead right now. You passed. As I spoke, she floated the sword back to me. Using levitation on a magic-resistant object in conjunction with a full-world illusion, that must take a lot out of you. I'm surprised you pulled it off. So tell me, how does success taste? Better than false praise from endless bragging? I just had to bring that up. Yes, I am a jerk. Definitely. Well, it's good to see how much you've improved on your illusions. Well, it is my special talent after all, she replied, putting a hoof to her own chest. Yep, 2 weeks of practical use instead of just flair, and you're already 6 times what you were. I smiled. She smiled back. Okay, so, training is over for today. New Bloods, get up here! I shouted down below, noticing the 2 of them had returned. The diamond dogs we had in our company had figured out how to climb, which was a little unnerving, but also made our lives easier. Alright, well, I can't just go around calling you generic names anymore, so, you're Etch, I said, pointing at the high-voiced one, and you're Growl, I said, pointing at the normally silent one. Don't ask why, they sound cool, and they matched you perfectly. Anyways, did you get what I asked? They nodded, showing me several pieces of leather which they borrowed from a nearby town in the jungle, Wet Hoof, along with some thick thread and needles. Okay, so who here knows how to sew? Nobody? Ah, crap. This is gonna be harder than I thought. After explaining the basic sewing method, corkscrewing with the thread through the 2 pieces, then going back on the opposite angle, Gilda cut the pieces and fitted them on me, leaving room for my wings and such. After the cross harness was made, a makeshift saddle with straps for Trixie's hooves were added. That way, she'd be able to ride around on my back, and even if I pulled aerial maneuvers, she wouldn't fall off. There were also 4 more, one in front and one in behind where each of her front hooves would be, with latches on them. These would be used to carry 4 quivers of arrows. Hades, instead of being placed on my back along its length, was instead put along my lower back, behind the saddle, perpendicular to my body. This made it easier to draw, and it wouldn't get in the way of the saddle. Are you sure about this, Griff? Gilda asked. Sure about what? Letting Trixie ride you. I mean, being mounted is kind of humiliating. Makes you feel like an animal, I guess, she replied. Really? I don't know. It's actually kind of comfortable, if you ask me. It just feels right, I guess. Where I'm from, humans ride on horses. Being on the other side, that doesn't really seem to bother me, I said innocently. I didn't really understand, but having Trixie on my back, feeling something there, actually felt good. Am I a freak or something? Scratch that, I already know for a fact that I am. Okay, since you've mastered illusion, it's time for actual combat. Once you've got that, we'll roll on them together. I'm going to fly around, pulling off moves and whatever, and I want you to use your magic to send these arrows into the painted targets as we pass by. I'll call out targets as I see them. Think of it like a clock. Where I'm facing is 12 o'clock. If I say target at 6, then you know it's directly behind us. If I say 3 o'clock high, then it's on the right and above. If I fly and focus on keeping us alive, while calling out targets for you to hit, that lets you focus on hitting them. If we can master this, then that'll be the next step done. Given that we're in a world of ponies, mounted combat is pretty much unheard of. If we storm somewhere with you riding me, it'll confuse the hell out of everyone. Okay. She wasn't too thrilled. Whenever I flew her anywhere, she always had her eyes closed. Listen, you're gonna have to get over your fear of heights. Okay, so maybe you're not afraid of heights since we're in this treehouse, but flying. If you're secured by this saddle, you won't fall off, and with practice, you'll get rid of the disorientation. Beside the latched quivers, there's also 2 pouches in front of you. One has explosives and the other knockout gas. We can use them to bombard the area if we need to. Trust me, you won't fall. How many times have you ridden on my back before without the harness, and you never fell off? You'll be fine. With my encouragement, she climbed on top, putting her hooves in the stirrups, tightening them with her magic. She carefully drew 3 arrows, and held them close as I took off. 2 o'clock low, I shouted. Trixie, rather than using a bow, flung the arrow with her magic. It went wide, missing the target. 8 o'clock mid! This time the arrow struck the tree with the target, but it was too low. 12 o'clock low! I lowered my head, going into a dive, giving her full view of the target. Since it was straight ahead, when she loosed her arrow, it struck the target, just on the outermost ring. I did it! She squealed. I turned straight up, going into a climb, my eyes scanning around for a target. Above! I yelled. Trixie having sweat appear on her brow, she sent a 4th arrow, which she had removed mid-flight at the target, striking just outside the bullseye. She would have jumped for joy if she wasn't strapped in. I landed and she let herself off. As she got unstrapped, she fell over, dizzy. Okay, so you can hit targets we're looking at, but you have a hard time hitting the ones we passed to either side. Still, not bad for your first tries, and your first time with mounted combat. Looking at her, her pupils were dilated, and she was shaking with nervousness and excitement. Oh ho ho! So, Trixie just got a taste of adrenaline. Feels good, doesn't it? Yes! Oh, sweet Celestia, yes! She yelled. Do you feel like that every time you fly? She asked. Pretty much. And now you know why everything with wings loves flying. Well, except for Fluttershy. It's like fear, excitement, joy, nervousness, all mixed into one. Trixie was jumping around. Oh, just wait until you throw rage into the mix. Having all that plus being pissed off, and you have How I Killed a Dragon. Remember, it's one thing to have this feeling, it's another entirely to control it and to know how to use it. Being able to keep in control while going out of control like that, if it makes any sense. Trixie just nodded. As for the dizziness, you'll get over it the more we do it. One more thing, I'm thinking of a bit of a different strategy. Do you think you can hold all the arrows I've got on me? I asked. Well, if I have them all going in the same direction, then it's easy. Having them go in different directions is what's difficult, she explained. Good. Hop on, we're going to find another target. After flying around for a bit, we spotted a Manticore in the underbrush. I hovered above quietly, telling her that the target was directly below us. She used her magic to pick up all 400 arrows or so I had on me. Suspending them above, instead of grabbing each one, she just took hold of the whole area in a magic field. It took more energy to do so, but less concentration. She could only do it for a moment, however, as she was no Twilight Sparkle, and taking too long would cause her to pass out from the strain. A moment was all we needed. Flying overhead, she spotted the target. I swooped past it, making it look up at me, as she let all the arrows go sailing towards in a massive bombardment. It was a tough target, but that many arrows just ripped it to bits. I flew back down after, inspecting the carcass. Trixie looked exhausted, so I went around picking up all the arrows she had let go. Some were broken, but most were intact, and they were made for guards and thus durable. After I collected all 380 intact arrows, I drew Hades and lopped off the Manticore tail. I carried it back to the camp. What you got there, Griff? Gilda asked, looking at the carcass I held. I dropped Trixie onto the ground and edge-pulled her in bed. Manticore tail. With this, we can collect the poison and coat our arrows with it before we fire them. It'll make them a lot more effective because instead of needing a kill shot, even a scratch will be lethal. Or at least incapacitate. I'm not sure how their venom works, but from what I know of scorpions, it's deadly. I should probably read that potion-making book. Poison joke? Winter weed? Phoenix ash mixed in? What's that measurement? Titration? I always hated that in school. This is too complicated. Hey, Etch, Growl, get over here. You got a new job. Figure out this apothecary crap. And while you're at it, get the chemistry too. This takes up way too much space in my head. The two dime dogs just looked at me strangely.
What makes you think we'll be good at it?
They asked in unison. Well, let's see. All the chem weapons we have were made by your kind, so you've got to at least have some talent with it. More than me, anyways. I've got way too much to think about without adding potions to the mix. You said Wet Hoof is that away? I think I can head there and pick up some glass vials and junk. If not, then we'll pick up some at the volcano. With all that lava around, they've gotta have some glass-blowing facilities.
Well, our infallible leader doesn't like science class,
Gilda mocked. Hey, biology was fine. If any of you get shrapnel launched near you, I can double as a surgeon, and I know about bacterial cultures and stuff. It's chemistry and physics that are just ridiculously complicated. It's a pain in the butt.
Looks like you're not so much of an egghead after all, she laughed.
Yeah. So, anyways, Trixie still isn't up. She's been sleeping a lot lately, probably since I've been working her to the bone with training her magic. That doesn't explain, though, why she looks like crap lately. Trix leaned her head over the bed and vomited a little on the floor. Oh, crap, she's burning up, I said, putting my claw on her. I ran over to the book I had on the jungle, flipping through it. Visitors of the feline jungle may contract jungle fever. It usually comes from tainted water running from the black marsh. Things living in the marsh are immune to it from having been around to it for a long period of time. Once you catch it, you cannot catch it again as you become immune. But while under its effect, sufferers experience nausea, dizziness, inability to focus, raised temperature, cold sweat, and increased heart rate, and finally, death. Simple antibiotics work well in some combating the disease, and it is the utmost importance that the afflicted receives treatment as soon as possible. As I read the passage, everyone's eyes went wide and their pupils shrank. Death? Sure, we had seen death, but we hadn't been stricken by it ourselves. Something I intended to keep that way. Not good. She's been acting like this for 3 days already. I thought she was just tuckered out, but if she started vomiting, then she's already on the onset of the disease. What if it's that way, right? I asked the dogs. They nodded. Good. Everyone, pack up. We're gonna bring her there and try to find a doctor. I need all of you to come with me for safety. We're criminals, but they maybe haven't heard of us yet. If they won't help, we'll have to steal the antibiotics. It's just basic penicillin. Given where we are, they should have a large supply. Let's go! Gilda strapped Trixie onto me, grabbing one dog under each of her arms. She wasn't just about to be mounted by them, especially given that she hates them. We flew off as fast as we could towards the town, in hopes of saving the sickly and fading Trixie.